Hey y'all, it's Jen Hobbs here. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do something special this week for Pride Month. Today I'm going to share with you my coming out story. Here it goes. When I was a kid, I always felt like I was a little bit different. I wasn't thinking about marriage, kids, and some of the other stuff. It felt like all of my friends talked about from as early as elementary school. And as I got older and my friends would start talking more about crushes and have their first boyfriends, I just felt confused. The guys I dated early in my life, they were awesome. They were great friends that I had. We had a lot in common, so it was easy to hang out with them. But once it started getting to the more physical aspect, it was like, whoa, hold up here. I hid behind religion at this time in my life. It was easy for me to say, I'm saving myself until marriage. But even when it came to kissing, or I wasn't willing to, or I didn't really enjoy it in the same way that my friends did. What's going on? At the same time, I would see some things on television, rumors of girls that might be gay or bisexual at my school, and I was intrigued, but I was also afraid. It wasn't until I started watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer and there was a lesbian relationship on there between two of the girls. The excitement and the speeding up of the heartbeat, watching them interact on TV, it just made me feel things that I didn't know that I could feel, and it scared me. I confided this into one of my very close friends at the time. Unfortunately, due to my suppressed homophobia and my inability to really grasp what was going on with me, I think I lashed out at her. She lashed out at me, and neither of us handled that situation very well. I used to feel anger towards some of these friends, but when I look back on it, there was a lot of anger in me because I didn't understand who I was. I started to read more about it. I couldn't say I'm a lesbian at this point, but I just continued to research it. I realized more and more, before I ever kissed a girl, I'm gay. Like, there was no way that I could be anything else. When you're that age, it's already tough trying to figure out who you are and who you want to be early on in college. And for me to add on top of that, I was trying to figure out my sexuality and how to navigate that. I was in a sorority at the time, and I was in a sorority for all my time during college. They reacted really well. I had some other friends outside of the sorority that reacted great, and I was getting a lot of good feedback, and I thought, oh man, it's going pretty well. Then it came to telling family. It was really hard to tell one of my cousins, who I was really close to. I looked up to her like a sister, and the reaction she had just set me back. She told me that it was taboo and I'm gonna break my father's heart. So I didn't. I waited. I hid behind it. I lied about boyfriends. I lied about relationships. I lied about so many things that I couldn't even keep track of all the lies that I was telling some of my family members to try and hide this part of me. I just couldn't fully accept myself because I was afraid I was going to lose my family. Finally came the time where I told my father. He cried. He thought it was something maybe he did wrong. He assured me that he still loved me and that doesn't change and that would never change, but it was hard on us for a long time. We barely spoke for several months, and my father and I are extremely close. I've always told him everything. It really hurt the way he reacted. Like some of the reactions in high school, I took it really personally for a while. I had to let people in my life take that time to accept it, and accept it they did. It was a long path, but my father and I's relationship got better. Most people that know the relationship I have with my dad would be extremely envious of how close we are. My grandmother was the biggest surprise. I was sitting on her couch. I said, I have to tell you that I'm gay. I like women, and I'm so afraid to lose you, and I really hope this doesn't change anything between us. And she took a long pause, and she looked at me and she said, I know. What? I know. How do you know that how can you possibly know? I mean, this lady is from World War II generation. How the heck could she possibly grasp this? Said, I knew your freshman year of college. I don't know, grandmother's intuition perhaps. She just knew, and it was crazy, and I just thought, it's okay? And she said, it doesn't change anything. It's just, I'm glad that you trusted me to tell me. And everything was always good. She would always ask about whoever I was dating at the time. I'm sad that we lost her before she was ever able to see me get married. Overall, for my coming out, most people reacted incredibly well. It didn't take long for those who didn't react well to come around. What I'm getting at about my coming out story is that it does get easier, but it isn't always safe, like my situation, for everyone to come out. I never feared for my life. Once I started admitting to myself who I was on the inside and projecting that on the outside, it started to lift this weight of anger and frustration and confusion that I had. I encourage anyone that has that safe space to admit it to someone, even if it's like a close friend or therapist, a teacher. Take that opportunity to do that, even if it's just to one person, because it helps relieve some of this stuff that we have built up inside of us. Coming out is a process. I am still coming out today. I come out to people in a restaurant, in a grocery store. I come out to people at work all the time when I'm correcting them when they ask about my husband. It's not really something that is still completely socially acceptable, even here in the US, and especially not here in the South. But it does get better. And the more people that share their stories, good or bad, mine wasn't anything mind-blowing, but it is my story. And I wanted to share that with you guys in hopes that maybe you can start sharing your stories. The more we normalize who we are, the more people can learn to coexist peacefully. We're not gonna change everyone's minds. There are some people that are going to continue to carry hate in their heart. Typically, that hate in their heart is because of something that they are insecure with, or something that they can't deal with, that may or may not have anything to do with being gay. But the thing I want you to take away from this is, it does get better. I'm going to put some links below to some of the nonprofit organizations that you can get a hold of for more information. If you want to ask me anything, or if you want to tell me your story, send me a comment down below and we can talk about it. I want you to know it gets better, and I'm thinking about you guys, and I hope everyone is having an awesome Pride Month, whether you're a part of the club or you're an ally. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. We'll talk to you